Welcome back to the Cutty and Govy show. We've survived the Hurricane Govy. It's the day after, I guess. It's a Thursday. The hurricane was Wednesday. It was north of us, Tampa, that entire north part of Florida. This is a week after Hurricane Helene. This was Hurricane Milton. And we were barraged by the press. We're not the press, are we? We're podcast superstars. We're not the press. We were barraged by the press that this was a Cat 5 hurricane north of us, and the outer winds of it was going to make our life miserable. Today on the ride over here, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's sunny. It was supposed to be raining all morning. All the Starbucks was closed this morning. The Publix supermarket opened late. Everything was opening late because we expected a hurricane. And I said to Govy, if you have a business and you closed it for the day because of the news and the broadcasters, do you have some liability or some retribution against the broadcasters, the government? Though DeSantis did a good job, because you lost a day of revenue in your business. You've closed your business for the day.
No, come on. I'll tell you what this was. We got nothing. This was really a crazy thing that it went across the middle of the state. But us in the southeastern part, we got zero. And
we're on the east side of the state. The west side
got hit hard.
Yeah.
But it's funny. There were a lot of tornadoes in the area. And if you got hit by a tornado, this was the worst hurricane that ever came your way if you were one of the people that were, and that happened in the Treasure Coast by Martin County, above Palm Beach County.
So I asked you last week or a couple weeks ago, do you believe in global warming? This is 200-year storms in 2 weeks. And it's all coming out of the left side of the state because the water's warmer there. It's kind of like a horseshoe kind of effect.
But they did have a hurricane that hit them in 1920. So over 100 years ago, Tampa was hit. They haven't been hit since. And again, they missed this one.
But I'm here since 2004. This is my fourth hurricane. I mean, big, well, didn't hit us, but, I'm saying.
Well, there's, 18 hurricanes a year, and
that's a good point.
We haven't had one that hit really this area in a while. But I wanted to say one thing. This is the first hurricane I remember that politics got into play, where it's like, DeSantis, and no matter what you think about the guy, as far as running a disaster and preventing as good a job you could do, there's not a better governor for a hurricane situation than Governor DeSantis. And when Kamala Harris has to get into the politics of it, it's just wrong, because she was never involved in any hurricane in the 4 previous years, and now all of a sudden she's asking stuff that is, he's dealing with her boss. Joe Biden's been okay with it.
Well, DeSantis was great. He said, I don't even understand why the woman's calling me. He said, I'm dealing with her boss. Why is she never interjected herself before. Why is she interjecting herself now?
She was worried about what she wanted to get in there to Governor DeSantis. I'll try to look into that there won't be any price gouging. But
DeSantis was great. He was all over law and order. He said, you loot, you rob, you do anything in this state, you're in trouble.
Right.
We're locking your ass up.
But I also didn't like that Joe Biden, who never got in front of the country in 4 years, is now all of a sudden Joe every day is coming on TV, and he's giving you this update of the hurricane, and he's using the hurricane as a political ad. So he gives you a 1 minute update on the hurricane, and then he goes and bashes Donald Trump in front of the world for literally 4 minutes on this misinformation that, by the way, it's not misinformation. It really is. They did a horrible job in North Carolina and in Sarasota, Florida, the government with FEMA. 100%.
Well, what did Joe have? A blood transfusion? They changed all his blood. Why is he all of a sudden pepping up again? Is he stealing some of Hunter's cocaine? I mean, he just appears like he's back to life.
I think
what happened?
He's angry. He's angry. He's angry at a bunch of people. The Woodward book will probably come out and explain.
I know. I got a copy. It's coming next week. I'm excited.
I mean, I got to tell you.
It's called War, folks.
Yeah.
Bob Woodward the guy from Watergate wrote a book. It's called War.
Right.
Get it.
Right. And I got to tell you, he sat there and I think his wife's upset, Jill, that he got pushed out. And he basically tells you that he was pushed out by Barack Obama. I think Jill thinks that he could do no worse than what Kamala Harris is doing right now. And she wanted to maybe have another 4 years of being the first lady. And he's upset that his wife is upset. And he's looking at her and she wanted to separate herself to say that she's different than him. And then she goes on The View and says, I wouldn't do anything different. So,
well, let's talk about that. First of all, I think Kamala's gorgeous. I mean, Govy disagrees with me. I think she's a very good-looking woman.
Do you like the Jamaican accent that she uses?
Well, I think she's an attractive lady. I mean, she's beautiful eyes. I mean, she's an attractive woman. But this week she did, let's see, The View, Howard Stern, and what was the third show she did?
Stephen Colbert.
Stephen Colbert. And I thought on every show she was very good. What do you think? I mean,
she was horrible.
She didn't give you any, moments of wisdom.
Are you crazy?
But she was like humorous. She was fun. But I mean, she's selling joy and personality, Govy. It's not politics.
She has changed, and we're not going back. But yet, she said on The View she wouldn't do anything different.
Look, she grew up in a middle-class family with a lawn. She went on. By the way, Howard Stern is not the same. Is not the same person. And for everybody, he
out
has
there,
500 million now.
Yeah, and that changed him. But for a lot of people,
he is married to Beth Ostrowski.
Yeah, I just want to give you a quick little background on Howard Stern because I used to love the guy. I actually advertised with him.
All right, let's role play a little. You be Howard Stern. I'm Kamala Harris. Fire some questions.
No, wait. I just want to give you a quick little background. In Philadelphia, there was a guy, John DeBella, who ran WMMR. It was the #1 radio station in Philadelphia for 20 years. And Howard Stern came into town when he started to go into all the different markets. And he said, I'm going to destroy this guy. And not only did he destroy him, he said, I'm going to make his wife come on dial-a-date. He used to do a thing. And he actually had the guy kiss his ring, John DeBella, who was like fighting it in the beginning. He had his wife on dial-a-date, like embarrass her. She committed suicide.
Because of that?
Yes. She committed suicide. So people don't really know. If you look up John DeBella, wife, suicide. Howard Stern was like, he was out there. Like if you ever want to see him in blackface with Sherman Hemsley, the guy that played George Jefferson, they were imitating Ted Danson because Ted Danson used to go out with Whoopi Goldberg. Guys, YouTube that scene. You will look at Howard Stern completely different than he is now.
Well, he would have asked Kamala so many different questions. He would have, a role play with you. He would have said, well, your husband's accused of getting the nanny pregnant. How do you feel about that? And he would have put her on the spot.
He would have said things like, so do you and the first man, do you guys like anal sex?
Yeah.
He would have put her on the spot.
Do a doggy style, Kamala?
Right.
What's your favorite position, Kamala?
She would have answered, by the way, just to let you know. She would have answered. But he would have answered like on the edge questions. And he's not the same guy. He's here's a guy that didn't come out for COVID. But he hid in his 60,000 square foot house put a studio in there. Didn't come out for 2.5 years.
Well, I wonder how his ratings are now. Are they still good?
I'm sure, but the people, his audience, they don't even know what he was about. Remember the movies?
Yeah,
we
do.
But not the 30-year-olds or 40-year-olds.
So anyway, I mean, it was interesting. I would have loved to have seen Kamala with Howard Stern. Do you still get your period? How many penises have you seen in your life?
What was Montel Williams like? Tell me.
How big was his penis?
Yeah, let me ask you a question. When you looked at Willie Brown and you were and you were eye level, tell me, what's it like when you're with a person that's 60 years older than you?
Do you have anything other than those pantsuits you wear every day?
Yeah. By the way, were you ever at a P. Diddy party? He would have asked, were you at a P. Diddy party?
Well, let's talk about P. Diddy since you brought it up. I mean, right now it's kind of cracking open. I mean, I can't wait. They have this lawyer that has 120 people that he signed up, and people are starting to pay off P. Diddy or somebody for these tapes.
I think Justin Bieber's starting to crack. He's starting to crack.
I think he cracked.
But I mean, he was there. I mean, he was a little kid. He's actually in the middle of feeling like he's a victim, really. So he gets a pass because he was a victim. Yet he feels maybe he wasn't. Maybe he feels like he was also the abuser.
But I see P. Diddy changed his lawyers again. He's got another appeal team. He has another bail hearing coming up. I mean, if he makes bail, I mean, what do you think?
He's not making bail.
He may make bail because they found some holes in the government's case to allow him to.
There are so many people that are coming out. I mean, it's just an unbelievable thing. I mean, look. There's rumors.
But what did you tell? Why don't you tell all our followers and listeners what you told me about that baby oil? I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of weird.
Yeah, there's something with the baby oil that ingest it and using it. It's one of the. It's a lubricant that you could actually put the date rape drug in, like a roofie, I guess. That you can become disabled through baby oil.
It's kind of crazy. I mean, the accusations of this guy is like everybody he doped up so he could rape them.
Right.
I mean, it's so disgusting.
Or protect. So there's a lot of people. There's going to be. You got your Ushers, your Ashton Kutchers, you got your Justin Biebers, you got Rihanna, you got Chris Brown.
Yeah, but let's say P. Diddy doped some woman up, and then Ashton Kutcher had sex with a woman that was doped up, and he had no knowledge that she was doped up. I mean, is Ashton Kutcher in trouble for that?
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people are really going down. This is really going to be.
There's also, it's not like a guy just had a cell phone there. This guy wired every room like it was like a TV studio. So the videos are like, it's not like a granular, like can't make out who was in it. It's like you're looking at a.
But weren't the lights out? Oh, I guess they were night vision cameras.
These
or
are
something.
The guy said not only do they have video of everybody that partook, they have the video of the people that are just sitting on the outside that didn't do anything.
Boy, can you imagine if Oprah Winfrey's in one of those tapes? I'll buy a seat.
Well, they said that you have the royals. You have Prince Andrew that could be in there.
Oh, Prince Andrew. Right.
That's okay.
But if it's William, Harry would do it. William probably wouldn't. Meghan Markle would do it.
Well, they say that Meghan Markle maybe was there.
Can you imagine if Meghan Markle? That's a divorce. I mean, if there's a tape of her doing like 2-3 guys, that's a divorce.
But you also got record producers. You got the Clive David. You got, they were Capitol Records at the time. You got Sony. You got movies. Will Smith.
Yeah, well, I could see Will Smith doing it. But how about Kevin Hart?
Yeah.
I mean, they say Kevin Hart all of a sudden showed up and he was a superstar. I mean, how did that happen?
Right.
It's pretty amazing. All right, well, as weeks go on, we're going to hear more and more about this P. Diddy thing. It's like kind of pain-wrenching to watch it go so slow. You want to find out who these names are and you want to get right down to the juice.
Yeah, so I want to bring up something. How do you feel about...
Yes.
When CBS did their debate, and it was like, and they fact-checked Donald Trump, and they didn't fact-check Kamala Harris. And Trump was pissed off that, especially after the ABC affiliate. Now, all of a sudden, CBS invites him to do a 60-minute interview. And he backed out. But Kamala Harris went on. And as it turns out, they edited that whole interview. And if you listen to some of the real answers that you could see it, the long version, she was horrible. And they cleaned it up and they edited it. Now, does that don't you think we should be entitled to see the unedited version? And then when she couldn't say anything, they did the talk over, where they actually had to say this is what she meant as the interview's going on. No wonder why Donald Trump didn't trust them. I mean, they could have edited to make him look bad. You can't keep going into a room where you have someone that wants you to do bad, and you can see how they helped her. And I'm letting you know, CBS's handling of this situation on this 60 Minutes thing is bigger than the actual interview now on how CBS is handling this.
According to Fox, not according to CNN.
Well, no, they just reprimanded the morning.
Did CBS complain about the way they handled it? You haven't heard a word on.
Well, no,
NBC,
CBS they're being pressured to release the unedited interview completely, and they're trying to refuse.
All right, so you're asking me what my thoughts are. I don't know about what she didn't answer. I watched the interview and I thought she did fairly well. I thought she was very
But what happens if she rambled on like some long words?
Yeah, I mean, but see, my expectation is so low. And my expectation is that she's not going to answer any real questions. So I guess whatever she answered was what I thought was going to happen. I wasn't expecting her to do a mea culpa out there and just say, "Oh, these are my plans and this is what I'm going to do."
But I think she goes in expecting CBS to clean up her mess, where Donald Trump goes in there and he doesn't get that feeling. If he made a mistake, he knows that they're going to say, well, there it is.
Well, there you go. Donald Trump's listening to us, Govy. Well, I told him not to do his first debate. I told him not to do the second debate. And now
Fox News offered an invitation for her to come on, the last shot, and I bet you she takes it.
There's no way.
I bet you
10,000.
I'll tell you what she has.
I got a 10,000.
It's the last shot.
Bet.
If she's down in the polls, it's like your Hail Mary. You got to. With Fox people. I mean, I think she should. If you're losing, that's when you do it.
All right, so let's assume she says that. How does she answer these very tough questions that she hasn't answered to date? Why have you changed your opinion on fracking? Why have you changed your opinion on the border?
She lies. Just go out there and lie.
What's she going to say?
She can say, I'll tell you what. She'll make up a story. Half the crowd's already going to say, yeah, good answer.
All right, Madam Vice President. So now you've changed your opinion on a whole host of issues. Now let me ask you this question. What are you going to say to the American people if you change what kind of promise are you going to make to the American people that you're not going to change your mind once you're in office? Tell us how you're going to guarantee that you're not going to change your mind again.
Well, now that I traveled across the country and I got to see how everybody is and all their opinions, I now feel that fracking is okay to some extent right now, and I want everybody to have an opportunity to grow up in a middle class family with a front yard. We're going to grow
from the out to the in,
and I think and I want everybody to have exactly what I want, and that's how we can do it.
Yeah, a husband that makes $3 million a year, Doug.
Yeah,
I mean, why not have something like that? I don't know, Govy. CBS.
I'm telling you, this story is getting bigger. By next week's show, you watch how big this story is.
I had no idea that this is season 59 of 60 Minutes. I mean, I guess when I was a kid.
I used to watch it.
I'm 67. Yeah, I used to watch it, so I could believe 59 minutes. Yeah.
I used to watch this, and then the show FBI came on afterwards.
Right. What was the name of that guy in the TV?
Ephraim Zimbalist.
Right.
Now, by the way,
he was great.
My wife cuts Ephraim Zimbalist Jr.'s hair.
Does he have great hair? Is that a great hair?
Yeah, he has great hair, but he's in his 70s. The kid's in his late 70s. Yeah.
That is unbelievable. Shout out to the hairstylist of the stars, Wendy.
Yeah.
There she is. Anyway, Govy, how about those Phillies? We had a tough game last night. I mean, the guy cracked a home run. I don't know what pitch he threw. Grand slam. What pitch did they throw at him? I mean, was that a fastball?
It was a fastball, but
and they're paying that guy $34 million a year. I mean, he's their star, right?
Yeah, he comes into the store, but
is he a watch guy?
Yeah, D. Bethune. He was looking at D. Bethune. I have my pictures. We have our pictures with Lindor, but it's
great story, Govy.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, it's the the Phillies weren't good enough. And you know what? You could feel okay, because when you have batters that bat 0.00, 0.77, you got batters that went like a combined 5 for like 60. You can't win. They didn't deserve to win. And you know what? If the New York Mets win this whole thing, and I kind of hope that they do, this would be the road that the New York Mets sort of reminds me of the 2022 Phillies. The New York Mets would have to have beaten Atlanta in the final week of the regular season when it was already over. Then they had to beat the first place Central Division Milwaukee Brewers. Then they had to beat the first place Philadelphia Phillies. Then the next round, it could be the first place Los Angeles Dodgers. And then they get to the World Series, and they probably will have to play the first place New York Yankees. And if you win all that, you deserve to be the World Series champion.
But you
deserve it.
For my point of view, it's 160 some games, 166 or
162.
Yeah, I mean, it's all who has the momentum coming into the end.
Agreed.
The end of the season. I mean, when you think about 162 games, that's a lot of games.
The Phillies were leaking fuel from July.
Right.
They were leaking oil.
They started out strong.
500 ball the rest of the way.
Right, and the relievers weren't great at the beginning. They kind of caught up, but then, when you think about it, the end of the season, and to play all these games in the playoffs, they just didn't have the juice.
Do you know who's happy that the Mets are doing so well?
Stephen Cohen.
I know. But besides
the owner, folks.
But besides him, do you know who's also happy?
I don't know.
Woody Johnson. Because the New York Jets right now, if there was no Mets, the Jets would be like front page news, but the whole city is like on this high because they're just concentrating on baseball. They don't realize that they're the overachieving, not underachieving New York Jets stink. Like, and Aaron Rodgers, they woke up and they found out he's 41 years old, and he's like Burt Reynolds in that Longest Yard.
So why'd they fire that coach? Because Aaron Rodgers said fire him?
No, they fired him because they're underachieving. They're horrible. And the window on this 41-year-old guy it's closing.
I mean, the NFL
fast.
is just a tough sport. I mean, it's really tough to be in the NFL. I mean, you look at these teams for years and years. They
when you see a 41-year-old guy scrambling in the pocket, and you see a 22-year-old defensive lineman that's 6'5" out, and he crushes the guy. You feel the pain. There's no way Aaron Rodgers is getting up on Monday morning feeling the way he did 25 years ago. He's just not.
But do you remember when Rex Ryan was the coach of the that was a great team.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
But anyway, I got my pick. Should I get
well, we have another. Well, you want to talk a couple other things?
Yeah, but I got I want to, since we're there, I'll do picks and then we'll go back.
Let's get them fast so you get them on reels.
Yep, get them fast, get them on reels tonight. I like college ball. By the way, I went 6-1 in college last week, but for this right now, I like Georgia Tech over North Carolina -4. I like Tennessee -15 over Florida. I like Ohio State -3 over Oregon. I like Kentucky -13.5 over Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt beat Alabama and tore down the goalposts last week. They are my college picks. My NFL picks is San Francisco -3.5 over Seattle, the Chicago Bears -1.5 over Jacksonville, Baltimore -6.5 over Washington, and Pittsburgh Steelers -3 over Las Vegas. If it is a bonanza underdog weekend, I will get crushed. So I have all favorites. I think this is a favorite week because the season's coming. This is the week that bet the favorites this week.
Did you see pictures of that Tampa Bay Stadium after the hurricane?
Yeah, the roof came off.
The roof came off. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's just wiped out. Where's Tampa Bay play?
But they want to build a new stadium anyway.
So they're going to get an insurance check?
Yeah, they probably will. They did okay. It's a crappy stadium.
I mean, it's pretty cool that it was covered like that, but now it's open air stadium.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe they should leave it as an open air stadium.
Right.
But so they were my picks.
So Govy's 6-1. That's pretty good. I mean, I would follow him if you're a gambler. It's pretty good. And college is tough because there's so
1
many.
and 3 in the pros. I was 1-3 in the pros, but I lost. I lost the game.
Yeah, but those games are crappy games.
I lost one that they reversed the call at the end of the game, which is
unbelievable.
I mean, a game ended on a reversal.
But how about the one call that they had on Kansas City, which went against Kansas City, and Andy Reid was like crazy. He had every call this year his way, and one call goes against him, he goes nuts.
You know, didn't they know Taylor Swift was in the crowd?
I mean, that thing is breaking apart. Taylor Swift and her
to get married.
No,
she has her dad in the box with her now. Her dad's there.
I think she has a contract till the end of the season. And
I want to tell you something. Her dad
Kelsey's
her dad was a diehard Philadelphia Eagle fan, and to see him dressed in Kansas City Chiefs stuff is
Well,
he forgot where he came from.
That's another bet we have. That's going to end at the end of the season. No, it isn't.
Get married.
So the big news also on late night TV is that Jimmy Fallon he's a very talented guy. You know,
he is.
So, I have a couple different theories, but Jimmy Fallon is going the way that the other late night guys are. They're going down to 4 days instead of 5. And I said, Govy, why do you think that the ratings are plummeting on all these late night guys? And a guy like Greg Gutfeld on Fox, which is 10 to 11, is doing better than all these, He
did better than them at 11 when he was on at 11.
But he can't get good talent on his show. He's not going to get, like Bruce Springsteen coming on Greg Gutfeld's show.
No, but he gets things where it gives an alternative where, the regular networks where they're idiots is Jimmy Fallon and Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel. All it is a Trump
and Conan O'Brien.
No, but he's not. Those three are nothing but Trump bashers. That's all they do.
Yeah,
is they bash Donald Trump.
So do you think that's why the ratings are down?
Well, what happened is in the very beginning when Jimmy Fallon first took over, his ratings were much better than Stephen Colbert. They were much better. And then Stephen Colbert decided that he was going to attack Donald Trump every night. And Jimmy Fallon was using his talent. He was singing, he was dancing, and he was doing unbelievable. And then all of a sudden he would get the ratings and he would say to Stephen Colbert is beating him. So he felt the pressure that he had to do what Stephen Colbert was doing, and he started bashing Donald Trump. If these three idiots, if one of them would just get together and say, we're all competing amongst it, if one of them would just go to the right, they would be the number one show, late night show, without a question.
I have a theory.
Without a question.
But I have a theory. Other than you, most young people, most old people like us are going to bed before 11 o'clock and getting up early. You are the only one that stays up past 11 o'clock. That's why these guys are all to the left and not to the right, because they're dealing with a younger audience. You don't like that theory?
No.
You think older people are staying up past 11 o'clock?
I think there is a tremendous amount of Republicans out there that would love to watch Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, and leave politics out of it. But when you go there, and for the first 15 minutes of the monologue is Trump bashing on someone that they like, they turn the channel off. If you would just let them enjoy the show, they would be fine. People went to bed at the same time when Johnny Carson was around. When Jay Leno was around, what do you think? People's sleep patterns changed? No. They were watching Jay Leno.
Right.
The politics have changed. And now you got three people bashing Donald Trump. They bashed Melania. You don't hear them saying anything about Dr. Jill, that she really doesn't, is a doctor that, teacher. She's not even a teacher.
Right. Well, we have Melania out with her new book. I saw her on, I guess it was the 5.
Yeah.
Right? She was on the 5. One of the very few Republican shows that I watch on Fox News, but
number one rated show.
I know it's the number one rated show, but I can't. I don't like that. What?
The one Democrat, yeah. The one Democrat that's there.
I like Harold Ford. I don't like Jessica Tarlow.
I think she's great.
Stand her.
I like her. I like her because I'll tell you
Jessica, don't get mad at me.
Jessica, I think
she's like 6 foot tall too.
Right. Jessica, I think you're great. She plays the role.
I like Judge Deneen.
Okay, you're taking there's 4 Republicans and 1 Democrat. She's stacked against her every day. What do you want her to do?
Well, I can't stand Greg Gutfeld, and he's a Republican because the entire time he's looking at his notes, and I'm like, dude,
he's talented.
They're paying you $19 million a year. Why do you need notes? You should be like Jesse Waters, where he just flings it. I mean, Greg Gutfeld, first of all, he's hunched over in his chair like this. Right. He doesn't even sit up. Can't stand the guy. I can't watch the show because of him.
Well, luckily, it's the number 1 ranking rated show without you.
But anyway, I watched Melania, and I'm torn between my comments with Melania. I want to read her book. Before I comment,
you're going to tell me that you think she's hard to understand.
Well, she is beautiful, and it's hard to understand somebody that beautiful looking at them. I mean, that's difficult.
It's an Eastern European accent. It doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me.
And I think she's smart, and I think it's nice to hear some of her what's going on in her life.
But the interesting part about it, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I guess I am. And we don't have that much time. What's interesting about her is her position on abortion, and the Republicans, not that I'm giving you Republicans tips, should get her out there because they're a husband and wife, and she's a polar opposite than her husband on abortion. She's total pro-choice. She's for women's body,
She's not total pro-choice. She is not on the 9th month. She's within the reasons of the state. So she's
saying she's
15 weeks, 20 weeks.
But she's saying a woman has the right to.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm for that.
But I mean, it's the most difficult issue the Republicans have. They should really bring her out and say, look, 2 couples can get along. We can fight over other things. I'm sure they don't fight about money. They don't fight about abortion.
No, but you know what everybody can relate to with Melania? They can all relate to that when she sits there and says when her son was 10 years old, 11 years old, and they saw him for the first time, and Rosie O'Donnell says, "Is he autistic?" And then that went out around the entire world that even though he's not autistic, people labeled him like he's autistic, like he doesn't have that platform. And for her to pick on a kid said it crushed Melania's heart, because everybody can relate one thing. It doesn't make a difference how much money you have, how much power you have, but when someone's kid gets hurt, you bleed. A mother bleeds. And she looked at Rosie O'Donnell and said, "You went after my kid that he was embarrassed at school. They didn't need that. It was unnecessary." And other suburban women can see that bothered Melania, and they can relate to that. They can relate to the hurt that she had.
Well, I can agree with you, Govy. I've seen Barron Trump 100 times or more, and I've seen him, I've been there 20 years, so I've seen him for 20 years. He's 18 now. I've seen him all, since the beginning, and he's 6'8" now. And he grew
good looking too.
He's a good looking kid, but he grew up fast. When I say fast, when he was 12, he was probably 6 feet.
Right.
And he was a skinny kid, and he was a lanky kid. So I could see how people could misjudge, because when kids are 10 and 12, they're a little awkward.
But who's Rosie O'Donnell to misjudge?
I agree with you. And she's a mother.
And she lives in a glass house. She's a mother that was married. She's a lesbian mother that's raising a boy. Right. I mean, you don't think this little boy has to worry about certain things?
No. That was a hurtful, wrong comment. I agree with you. I mean, and Melania should stand up like every mother should.
It was able that she shared. It was the first time she was sharing the hurt that it shows you that a mother bleeds when their child bleeds, and she's normal in that way. And suburban housewives got to see that it was a cut.
Well, my only knock on Melania is I just don't know if she's in or she's out. It's like she comes out for these certain things, and then she goes and hides, and then she comes out for certain things, and then
she was raising.
Is she Does she want this job as first lady? Does she want her husband to be president? Or is it because he was almost assassinated that, now she has a different mantra that she's coming out, for
I think she wants the job. She doesn't want it the same way Jill Biden wanted the job.
I agree with that.
Jill Biden wanted the job because she was taking the power and everything.
The cabinet table.
Melania Trump was like, listen, you do you handle Netanyahu. I'm going to see that there's a new Birkin bag that came in from Hermes, and I want to maybe take a look at it. You do you, I'll do me. I'll take care of make sure that
Yeah, I did see Big Don bought her a green alligator green Birkin bag there. The 35,
that's what she wants.
The 35 green alligator. That's a big ticket one.
Joe Biden had to worry about every single person who came into Joe's atmosphere because she had to protect the guy, feed the guy, change his depends, do everything. Melania Trump isn't doing that. She's not doing all that worrying about Donald Trump. She could say, Donald, go play golf. I'll see you at the end of the day. And
it's interesting. Everybody talks, and I'm going to defend her here. Everybody talks about their relationship, that they have this cold relationship. At Mar-a-Lago, they live in a little tiny house adjacent in the inside of Mar-a-Lago, but it's next to the place you would eat outside. But it's only maybe 2,500 square feet. I mean, it's her son last year, her son's in college now, and him in...
That's it? 2,500 square?
I would say it's less than 25. I've never been inside, but it's from the outside, it looks like 2,000 feet. Now, you can't hate somebody, and three of you live there, with...
100%.
With breakfast, lunch, and dinner,
And he doesn't wear pajamas at night, according to her.
That's what she said. That is funny. And he has big hands and big feet.
Yeah. So I mean, and he deals with things. And, I want to bring up one thing. She lets him do his stuff with foreign leaders. Like, for instance, his relationship with Netanyahu is so much better than Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. And Jill will have to weigh in because she has to talk for Joe Biden. Melania Trump is never going to sit there and tell you something about Bibi. She's going to let Donald do it. Like right now, you don't find it unbelievable that Kamala Harris, wasn't in Congress when Netanyahu came to speak in front of Congress. Now, she can't even say she likes him. She's trying to tell the Jews, don't worry.
She looked good, though, in that interview when she was answering those questions, Govy.
You're killing me. You got to be killing me.
She looked great.
She looked great. Answering these interviews saying that the American Jews are okay with the Israeli Jews.
I didn't expect an answer from her.
She doesn't care that she doesn't have a good relationship with Bibi. Let me tell you what Bibi's doing right now.
Let me ask you this question. How much does the president's power have over the United States Congress when it comes to Israel? I mean, doesn't all the hard decisions get paid by the Congress? Made by the Congress?
I think Trump had a lot of power over, and Bush and all the presidents had a lot over him. I think Bibi is looking at right now.
He doesn't care about Joe. He's doing whatever the hell he wants to do.
Because right now he knows one thing. His back's up against the wall, and he has he sees a weakness in the United States that Joe's out to lunch. Kamala's campaigning, we're doing this other thing. Bibi knows one thing. I'm going in there. I took out every single terrorist that in Lebanon from Hezbollah right now. Hezbollah is asking for a ceasefire. They're literally begging because anybody who's in charge of Hezbollah gets killed within 24 hours. So nobody wants.
Nobody wants.
No one wants that job right now. So the guy wants a ceasefire. So he's not having a ceasefire. He is going to go finish the job in Lebanon.
How do you finish it? Let's say there's 1,000 ants, and we kill every but 4 of them. In a week or a month, there's going to be another 1,000 ants. They can't get rid of them all. How does this end? How do they end it?
One of the deals of the ceasefire originally was going to be that we had to stop in Gaza too. And now there are no restrictions.
You're going to have to go kill all the Iranians now. You're going to have to bomb the shit out of them and take their money away.
Well, no, because it's a strategy. Bibi and Israel had to take out Hamas first, then then Hezbollah in Lebanon.
Yeah.
Then they can concentrate on Iran. If those two were still strong, if they would have gone after Iran first, they would have had to take. They would have had to worry about the three other fronts. Now they're systematically took them out. They have nothing, but they can.
What are they going to do to Iran now? They're going to knock out their nukes or their gas tanks?
Yeah, you want to know why they're going to take out their nukes? Because they're doing the work of the United States. They're making sure that ships can go in the Red Sea without.
You just said Biden hates them. So why? What are they? Are they doing the work of the United States on Biden's orders?
No. They're doing the work for the Western world. Because let me tell you something. Right now, we have to deal with North Korea. Why do we deal with North Korea? Because they have nukes. If they didn't have nukes, they wouldn't be they're a thorn in their side. Right. Now, this country, who's already sending ballistic missiles into downtown Tel Aviv, Haifa, you can't have them with the nukes. I think little Kim is like much more sound-minded not to use it than Iran. They will take out the nukes right now. This is the opportunity.
When's that happening? I'm running out of time, Govys.
Let me tell you what I think. Let me tell you.
When's it happening?
I think Yom Kippur. So what? Kol Nidre is tonight.
What's that? Yeah.
Is Kol Nidre tonight?
I don't know. I think Yom Kippur is
like Friday. Today's Thursday.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Okay, I say Friday or Saturday. Where Iran gets attacked Friday or Saturday.
But that's the highest holiday of the Jewish. So they're going to work on. They're going to go.
They got attacked. I think last October 7th. I think was the holiday when they got attacked. There was the Yom Kippur War.
Now, for all our listeners that aren't familiar with Yom Kippur, it's the highest holiday of the Jewish year.
Besides Sabbath, but generally.
Yeah. But so where the Archie Bunker said this on All in the Family, so where the Jews have it over everybody else goes to confession once a week. The Jews only do it once a year. They can press it all into Yom Kippur.
Right, that's what we do. You say for certain.
So you're saying it's going to happen on Saturday.
I think in the next 2 days, you will see Israel attack Iran. And by the way, everybody will then thank Israel for doing this job. Kamala Harris will be sitting there. And by the way, if Trump wins, the relationship of the Middle East, I think you'll have as close to a chance of peace in the Middle East with Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel, Qatar. I think that is the best scenario. But Israel has to take care of Iran first.
Yeah, but when Israel goes and takes care of Iran, they have to make sure they have an awesome attack where they get everything at one shot. Well, otherwise, they're going to get hammered back really bad.
I trust them. If they're going in, I trust them that they already know. Just like what they did where they got rid of all of, Hezbollah with all the walkie-talkies and the pagers. I'll tell you who comes up small in these situations. I look at Macron from France. This guy is an anti-Semitic guy that he just has to get out of.
Right.
And he
but
already
the French
lost.
always have been anti-Semitic.
But now you get to see. Now you really get to see that he was against them. Kamala Harris is against Israel.
That's a shame. But she's married to a Jewish guy.
I'm tired of everybody saying that. This is a guy that's
a wife beater. Yeah, he's an adulteress.
When he sold it to Nanny, was gaining a little weight. He said, "What happened?" And she said, "Well, what happened is I'm pregnant." And he said, "Well, that can't." She signed an NDA, so he made her sign an NDA and paid her. So you don't even.
Well, he is a lawyer.
Right. I'm just giving you,
He gave her $80,000 for the NDA. That was a cheap deal for him. Anyway, folks, have a great week. We had a lot of fun here. Watch Govy's picks. They're going to be on all our reels. Our reels are getting 100,000 views a day, especially Govy's picks.
I got to tell you something. My picks will be nothing compared to if Israel goes into.
If you're Israel, this is going to be a reel. It'll be millions. It'll be millions, Govy.
Within 2 days, I think Israel goes in.
We're counting on you. Is there an under/over bet? 2 days less than or more than? All right, folks. Have a great week.
See ya.